doesn't mean that Hillary would have been a good choice either. She was a terrible choice. She's a corrupt politician, one of the most unlikable people that's ever run for office. They were trying to get people to be supporting her just because she's a woman. This is going to be her history. Women, ladies, I stand with her. So there's all these women that have this blind allegiance towards this career politician, completely full of shit. She's been full of shit forever. But meanwhile, just a puppet of banks, and those people make shit piles of money from speeches, and there's major problems with the Clinton Foundation. It's not even around anymore. It's a dark legion. And meanwhile, she's doing all this Me Too talk. Her husband's a goddamn predator.
Yeah.
He's been a predator forever.
Yeah.
She said that Monica Lewinsky was a grown woman and it wasn't an abuse of power. Get the fuck out of here.
How old is Monica?
She was
Hillary Clinton attempted to rewrite and polish her political legacy, but Joe Rogan stormed in swinging a verbal sledgehammer, showing absolutely no tolerance for revisionist fairy tales or carefully scripted narratives. From her infamous email saga to her almost magical blame-shifting tour, Rogan didn't simply call her out. He obliterated the entire circus act in spectacular fashion. This isn't just a roast, it's a full-scale demolition. Razor-sharp, brutally savage, and relentlessly hilarious, his takedown cuts straight through political spin like a live hot mic slicing through silence. Hillary expected applause and validation. Instead, she faced Rogan armed with unfiltered facts, relentless fire, and zero mercy.
And he's actually still kind of good looking. Like, even for an older dude. Yeah, why not? He's still so good looking, and she's just so miserable.
She was publicly humiliated, and she thought that her big retribution would become president.
I'm running for president, and I'm in it to win it.
You know, become president.
Sure.
And then that would be it. All water under the bridge. I'm a strong woman. I'm running this country. And then America was like...
Somehow, Hillary Clinton still struts through political scandals as if she's gliding down a glamorous red carpet. Heels high, grin unshaken, and a trail of conveniently deleted emails fluttering behind her like celebratory confetti for the cameras to ignore. Joe Rogan doesn't simply roast her, he dissects, skewers and dismantles her entire political existence using the sharpest tools in his arsenal. And this isn't some tidy precision strike, it's an unapologetic, full-scale demolition of decades of carefully staged political theatre, headlined by the same leading actress who keeps fumbling her lines, yet somehow still demands applause, validation and a thunderous standing ovation.
I was infuriated when people that I knew that I was friends with were trying to tell me that Hillary Clinton was a good choice. And that's the same choice. I'm like, look, I don't know if she's murdered people, but I know that I worry that she's murdered people. That's I really wonder. Like, this Seth Rich...
I know. First of all, just leave. You don't even need to go there. You know,
there's so many other things.
There's so many other things that we know for a fact.
The Clinton Foundation, for instance.
So...
Enjoying this video? Make sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that bell icon, and stay tuned. Rogan dives headfirst into Hillary Clinton's remarkable talent for constant reinvention. The woman has rebranded herself more times than a desperate tech startup still searching for its first customer. One moment she's championing women's rights with fiery rhetoric, and the next she's cashing checks from regimes where women's rights exist only as whispered rumors. Somehow she manages to wear the badge of feminist icon while performing foreign policy backflips in the same breath. If hypocrisy ever had its own LinkedIn page, Hillary's profile would be front page featured, complete with glowing endorsements from irony, contradiction, and pure political confusion.
She really did say that.
Yeah, she really did say that after she just got done Gaddafi and then laughed about it.
We came, we saw, he died.
We came, we saw, he died. The fact that any human being would ever do that. By the way he died, that's some...
Joe doesn't hesitate to hammer home the uncomfortable truth. Hillary Clinton's political career feels like one endless audition for a role the audience never wanted her to play. It's as if America sat through the pilot episode, hated every minute, cancelled the entire show, and yet she still keeps appearing at the Emmys demanding trophies and recognition. The relentless commitment to running the same tired script over and over without changing even a single plot point is either unwavering dedication or breathtaking delusion. Honestly, it's probably both. No, scratch that. It's absolutely, unequivocally both.
The thing was, he was packing stadiums.
Yeah.
She couldn't even fill a fucking high school gymnasium.
Right. She was pulling all the strings, and she had all the favors that she was pulling in, and she had a shit ton of money behind her, and they were completely arrogant, and all the liberal elite in the media thought there was no chance that she was going to lose. She's 95% shoe-in to win the presidency, and she walked around like she was 95%.
She already thought she won.
Yeah.
And then there's the infamous email saga. The story that simply refuses to fade away, largely because Hillary treated a secure government server as if it were her personal Pinterest board of political ambitions. Rogan tears into it like a stand-up routine that practically writes itself, because frankly it does. She claimed she set up a private email server purely for convenience, yet all she created was a glowing digital monument to terrible decision-making. Somewhere out there, a Nigerian prince is still green with envy over her email setup. And through every scandalous twist, she managed to play the victim as though starring in an off-Broadway tragedy titled Accountability is Sexist, the musical no one asked for.
Forever. If you watch the conversation between James Comey, when James Comey testified about what he did and what they found with the Hillary Clinton emails, and then her version of it, she's just a straight liar.
Yeah.
She deleted 33,000 emails.
How the do you do that? And then
even worse than that, when they rigged the DNC, they rigged the primaries so that Bernie Sanders was going to lose. She had her people into the DNC.
That was crazy.
From there, Rogan pivots seamlessly to the Clinton Foundation, otherwise known as the family business that somehow functions as a charity, a political vehicle, and a swirling black hole of mystery funding all at once. Money pours in from every direction. Influence seeps out in ways no one can quite trace, and whatever happens in between is murky enough to make a tax attorney sweat. The Foundation's financial disclosures probably require not just a decoder ring, but a priest performing last rites. Rogan makes it plain. This isn't selfless public service. It's slick public relations with a shiny donation button attached. Then comes the 2016 election, the single most spectacular faceplant in modern American politics. Hillary had it all. Media cheerleaders, deep-pocketed donors, former presidents lending their names, A-list celebrities waving banners, and literal parades of confetti. And she still managed to lose. Joe practically dances through the absurd comedy of a billion-dollar campaign so cold and mechanical it made vending machines seem charmingly human by comparison. Whether it's decades-old real estate deals, foreign cash slipping in at curious times, or suspiciously lucrative speeches to Wall Street executives, Hillary always wears the same polished expression, part shock, part confusion, and entirely rehearsed. It's like watching a soap opera character suddenly realizing they're the villain after 6 full seasons of elaborate gaslighting.
One of my favorite clips is Hillary Clinton when she was running 2012. She was more MAGA than MAGA.
So I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes. And you have to try to learn English. And you have to wait in line.
That's so MAGA.
Joe Rogan doesn't skip over Benghazi either. That foreign policy fiasco that turned into a one-word synonym for glaring incompetence. The scandal wasn't only about tragedy. It was about the absurd, almost comical lengths Hillary and her department went to in order to pretend it wasn't their responsibility. Accountability was dodged like a championship dodgeball match, with Hillary standing front and center wearing a bright red bullseye. Rogan runs wild with it, pointing out that her entire strategy seemed to boil down to deny, deflect, distract, and finally write a glossy book about how profoundly misunderstood she is. Speaking of books, Hillary's post-defeat memoir is practically a masterclass in deflection and self-congratulation. Jo dissects it like a bizarre political fan fiction where the author casts herself as both heroic savior and unappreciated genius. Every chapter reads like an unending therapy session where she interrupts the therapist mid-sentence to blame James Comey, the media, misogyny, basically anyone but herself. Jo paints the image perfectly. Hillary walks onto the stage with the stiff, awkward energy of a glitching hologram, delivering speeches so meticulously choreographed they'd make even a Broadway director shake his head. Spontaneity isn't just missing from her vocabulary, it's been erased entirely. Relatability traded away for lifeless talking points. She addresses voters as if she's reading from an instruction manual and somehow manages to turn every word of inspiration into something that feels more like a warning label.
I was getting shot at. It's like, I can't imagine, I was just talking about lack of empathy. I can't imagine being in a situation where I'm on television and I'm saying things that are so removed from the truth.
Right.
Like, I can't wrap my head around that.
Well, Hillary did the same thing.
Well, she's a congenital liar, as she was referred to by the New York Times back in the day.
But, and rightly so, but people forget this. She did talk about a firefight that she was involved in.
I was under sniper fire, and the worst thing about that people didn't give a shit about, she said when she was in Bosnia, she was under sniper fire. It's like, wait a minute, you're throwing the Secret Service under the bus. Because what kind of
As it turns out, Rogan zeroes in on Hillary's astonishing tech illiteracy, something far more alarming when you remember she was overseeing national cyber policy. Watching Hillary interact with technology is like watching your grandmother try to film a TikTok dance. Pure confusion, random button mashing, and a constant, "Where did that email go?" vibe. She famously once confused wiping a server with literally using a cloth. That's not a punchline. That's a glaring national security risk disguised as unintentional comedy gold. Then there's her self-crowned status as the ultimate face of progress. Hillary behaves as though she single-handedly invented feminism, equality, and political sophistication, all while leaving a track record filled with compromises, contradictions, and suspiciously convenient alliances. Jo doesn't let that slide. He drills into her support of policies that harmed the same communities she later claimed to champion. He highlights how Hillary weaponized her marriage when it benefited her, defended it when it was indefensible, and spun it into a romance novel ghost-written entirely by denial. She has played every role imaginable: the loyal wife, the fierce independent, the cunning backroom strategist, always tailored to the audience and the political wins. The Clintons have never been merely a couple, they've always been a brand. A messy, scandal-saturated brand with more spin than a washing machine riding out an earthquake. Rogan digs deep into Hillary's uncanny ability to turn every setback into a ladder. Failed policies, lessons, public backlash, proof of her brilliance. Hillary could trip over her own narrative and still declare it a power move. She's the rare politician who can claim both victimhood and leadership in the same breath while locking eyes with a camera and a lobbyist simultaneously, without blinking once.
And she just basically did a double talk around that, but she's got a lot of whoppers in her name. She said she was named after Edmund Hillary, even though he climbed Mount Everest after she was born. So she's amazing. I love that woman. I love her so much. She's the funniest person on earth.
She's a scary lady.
She's like a slinky. She's always falling down the stairs.
Ah!
Yeah, she's the human slinky.
How dare you?
Yeah.
It's an odd duck. It's one of those things where women want a woman to be president so bad. They want one for the team so bad. And then there's so many people from the left that think she has the best chance.
Then there's Hillary's social media presence. Less authentic millennial energy and more awkward intern with a schedule energy, topped off with a layer of detached superiority. Joe Rogan doesn't pull any punches. Watching Hillary tweet is like witnessing a slow-motion car crash plow into a thesaurus. Every post tries painfully hard to sound relevant and culturally plugged in, but ends up reading like a PTA newsletter awkwardly cosplaying as woke. Her hashtags feel forced, her memes are stale, and her GIFs look like someone Googled cool internet trend 2012 and never refreshed the browser since. Rogan wraps his roast by highlighting Hillary's relentless talent for inserting herself into every political conversation, welcome or not. She's like the unskippable ad of American politics, always there, always grinning, forever pitching herself as the solution to problems she often helped create. Whether it's 2024, 2028, or even the end times themselves, Hillary will locate a camera, tilt her head with practiced precision, and insist she saw it all coming. She's the ghost of campaigns past, drifting through CNN studios and college lecture halls like a wandering PR apparition. And as she floats off to her next self-congratulatory symposium, one thing is certain: this roast is far from over. The never-ending saga of self-importance, political spin, and mysteriously deleted emails is simply biding its time, waiting patiently for its next punchline.
One of the things I always point out, like, people want to talk progressive, you want to talk, being left-wing, and she didn't even believe in gay marriage until 2013.
The best part was she was on NPR, which is this far right fringe organization, right? NPR, Terry Gross. And Terry Gross says, you used to be against gay marriage. Your husband passed DOMA, which made it a federal law that gay marriage won't be recognized by the federal government. And you changed your position. Like, how did that happen? Was it because Americans became... Hillary's like, well, America changed their point of view. She goes, no, I understand Americans changed their point of view. What was your mental process? And she goes, no, Terry, you're saying that I changed my mind for political purposes, and that's not true. And she starts yelling at her, and it's like, holy shit, you're on NPR and you think they're too right-wing for you because they're calling you out on your bullshit, you fucking loon.
Just when you think Hillary Clinton's saga couldn't spiral any deeper into the realm of the absurd, along comes her post-2016 reinvention tour, an ongoing masterclass in political cosplay. One week she's a podcast host, the next she's teaching a masterclass on resilience, and somewhere in between she rebrands herself as the all-knowing oracle of democracy. It's like watching someone flunk the final exam and then apply to teach the entire course anyway. She's that determined to rewrite her legacy with glitter, revisionist sparkle, and an almost insulting assumption that public memory has the attention span of a goldfish hooked on triple-shot espresso. Joe Rogan didn't even have to shift into a higher gear to cut through that delusion. While Hillary worked overtime to package herself as America's indomitable comeback queen, Rogan spotted that circus tent from a mile away and showed up ready with lighter fluid. And let's not forget her breathtaking audacity to brand herself as the last noble line of defense against tyranny, after losing to a guy who delivered campaign speeches like a sitcom uncle ranting about cranberry sauce at Thanksgiving dinner.
Hillary Clinton has a very weird and I think shitty marriage. I don't think she has a husband who is in love with her or faithful to her, and I think I can't really blame him because she seems to have accepted this behavior since the inception of their marriage. And so, past his prologue, you're going to get what you tolerate. What you permit, you promote. She spent all of her daughter's upbringing away, at work.
Joe didn't just roast Hillary Clinton's failures. He exposed how spectacularly tone-deaf her entire legacy tour had become. It was like watching the Titanic sink all over again, except this time the captain stood on deck, insisting the iceberg was clearly Russian interference. When she re-emerged, it wasn't with wisdom or humility, but with even more volume, like someone who completely misread the room and doubled down on karaoke at a funeral. And the cherry on top, her relentless obsession with staying relevant. For someone who lost, she's astonishingly committed to reminding everyone how close she supposedly came to winning. She's got more hot takes than actual victories, and each one spoils faster than dairy left out in July heat. While most of the political world at least tries to evolve, or at least pretend to, Hillary is still performing greatest hits from her greatest misses. So when Rogan lobbed his verbal grenade, theatrics weren't even necessary. The contradictions were already punchlines. The inconsistencies practically wrote themselves. Hillary's public career has become that group project nightmare, where one person insists they carried the whole team, despite obvious evidence to the contrary. And just like that, the Clinton brand reboot didn't just glitch. It suffered a catastrophic system crash. No update, no